Did you know you can get millions of views on Pinterest without followers, without ads, and then turn that traffic into serious cash online, actually passive income? Now look, most people are pinning wrong, but today I'm revealing the exact strategy that drives clicks and makes money. Let's get into today's video. And hey, if you're serious about growing online, then definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future strategies. Let's start. So here is my pinning strategy spreadsheet and database, and I'm going to share with you exactly how I managed to gain and increase all of my accounts to millions and millions of impressions every single month. I'm going to lay it out in step-by-step formula so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm pretty much going to do it as if you're kind of like looking over my shoulder and seeing my accounts and seeing how it works, what I do, and how you can do it exactly the same. Now, I've been running successful Pinterest accounts for several years. And one of the biggest questions that I get asked across my multiple client accounts, also my coaching students, is, Mo, what is the best pinning strategy that you can give to me, especially starting out from the beginning? And in today's video, I'm going to pretty much show you exactly what that is. And I'm going to share with you exactly what works and what doesn't work. So let's go through that now. So if you are using Pinterest to generate income online and you're looking to generate passive income online, then you're definitely in the right place. Pinterest is probably one of the easiest ways to make money online right now. And I'm going to share with you the strategy that I use specifically for my pins and why I think if you're not utilizing Pinterest right now in your business and in your campaigns, then you're probably missing out. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how I've utilized free tools specifically on Pinterest with the Pinterest Trends tools and using your analytics. By putting those two together, you can very easily scale up your account and see millions of impressions over multiple months. But very simple to create pins, and I'm going to show you a tool that I do use that can create those pins pretty much on autopilot, and also a few tools that are manual. Let's go into that now. So look, here's the case study and here's proof that it works, because I don't want to just say things. I want you to understand what's working, what's not working, but with a live example. So let's go into that right now. I'm going to show you my account and the strategy that's delivered real results. Now, I started this account probably in late November, probably maybe mid-October, actually was when I started it. So it's been roughly around 4 months now in terms of the actual case study itself. In that time, it's generated over 2.5 million impressions, and over the last 30 days, it's probably generated around 1.1 million impressions. So that's really kind of spiked up over the last 3 to 4 months. It has around 130,000 engagements, 40,000 outbound clicks, 1,500 saves, a total audience of 1.6 million, and an engaged audience of about 83,000. Okay, so you can see some of the statistics here. Let's actually go into the live demonstration now. So here's the account. This is over the last I say 4 months or so. We can actually go over the last 90 days. This account started in October. We can pop back to October actually if you want to see the dates from October. So here we are from October. So mid of October is actually when it started, and it spiked up in and around November. And the strategy that I'm going to share with you in this video has taken it from a few thousand impressions per day to several thousand impressions per day, so in the tens, and then now we're going up to probably around 50 or 60,000 or 45 or 50,000 in terms of impressions. We have some seasonal dips there, and we're spiking back up to 50k the last few days. Now, this is a tried and tested formula. So if you want to take your account from zero, literally zero, the beginning of October was zero, to over 50,000 impressions in a single day, including all of the outbound clicks that it's going to be generating, and achieve millions of impressions on Pinterest, which is going to translate to revenue because you're sending all of those impressions to your blog post, then continue to follow this video. Let me show you step by step what I do. So look, why do you need a Pinterest strategy in the first place? Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail into the whys. I want to go into the hows in this particular video, but let's very quickly go into the whys. So if you're new to Pinterest, then as you know, Pinterest is a visual search engine. It's not a social media search engine. So you do need a strategy of some sort if you're going to rank your pins and see traffic and see growth across your Pinterest accounts. Now, as I mentioned, consistency is key for growing and making sure that your account is visible. That's super, super important, okay? Because the more consistent you are, the easier that Pinterest are going to be able to use your data sets, your pins, and the things that people are engaged with, and then be able to show your account and your pins across their platform and basically just give you more traffic. And honestly, more traffic just means more revenue. So this is what this video is going to be about. Pretty much increase traffic and get more revenue across Pinterest. And all of that equals more passive income. Now, this is going to be a method that's going to be long-term and sustainable. So if you're looking for quick wins, if you're looking for quick hacks, and if you're looking for spammy stuff that Pinterest are probably going to ban that account for, maybe this video isn't for you. You can probably find that somewhere else. But this is a long-term strategy that I've been using, as I mentioned, across several years to see multiple 5-figure and 6-figure years across my accounts. So if that makes sense for you and you want to really nail down what works, then let's go into today's video. So let's go into the Pinterest strategy for beginners and new accounts. I'm going to give you access to one of my accounts, and this is my case study account here. So this is in the tool and DIY and home decor website. Very, very simple to set up. This is the blog as is. We have a variety of different posts. As you can see, these are some informational posts, and then we have some really cool posts on Pinterest here. So if you click into some of these posts, you can see these are the pins for the Pinterest posts, and we can actually go into the post here. And then the post is very, very simple, very, very easy to view. Definitely Pinterest friendly, SEO friendly for Pinterest, full of gorgeous images and also some email boxes, and I'll go over that in a second. What we're doing here is monetizing the website primarily with ads. So you can see ads on the bottom here, there's ads loading in the corner here, and generally we're making money and earn income from ads on this page. So what we're trying to do is get more people to these pages, more people to my blog, and to do that we use these pins here. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you the strategy that I use to create these pins, some for free, and sometimes we use paid tools. But generally, I'm going to give you the strategy of what I use from scratch with as a beginner. And if I was scaling up an account pretty much in any niche, what I would do. And as I mentioned, the more traffic that you have, the more revenue you can make, whether that's with ads or with affiliate. Let's go into that now. Quick pause. If you are enjoying the content and you really want to unlock the next level of success with Pinterest, then I urge you to sign up to my newsletter. I'm sharing the best tips, the most up-to-date tips, things that are working for me in 2025 in detail with step-by-steps of exactly how I am growing my Pinterest accounts across my several accounts, plus all my agency accounts. Plus, I have around 20 or so blueprints that give you the step-by-step methods of how I scale out accounts up to $10,000 with no jargon or fluff. Just exactly what I do and all the tools I use to scale up my Pinterest accounts. If you're interested, this is all 100% free, so please sign up with the link below this video. Let's carry on. So if you're looking to make passive income on Pinterest, this is the strategy that I would recommend for beginners and people that are scaling accounts from new. I have different videos on my channel based on what I think individually, which niche you should go into or which niche. But let's say we're going into the recipe niche, for example, or maybe even the home decor niche, one of the bigger niches, and we're looking to set up a foundation for our account. This is what I'd recommend you to do. So step one is you want to optimize your profile, just add the keywords and your name in your bios, simple stuff. Also, very importantly, you want to add 10 to 15 keyword rich boards in your specific niche, and then just have some SEO friendly boards and titles. So to give you an example in my case study account, and of course, please keep my case study account private to yourself, please. If there's people copying it or I see any issues with it, I'm just going to take it down and not use it anymore. So probably best just to keep it to yourselves if you want to continue to learn. So in terms of the boards, these are the boards that I have for this particular account. And most of these are keyword heavy boards that I've just researched on Pinterest itself. And I've done some testing to see what's working and what's not. So for example, I've checked some of my competition and some of these boards seem to be the ones that they're using. So I've done the same thing. So we'll pop into one of those now. So as I mentioned, you want to have an SEO description in the title. You want to have that SEO keyword in the description too. And just generally, you need to have a organized board, okay? It's not too difficult to do. Have these set up from the beginning, and then when you're moving forward and adding your pinnings and you're following the pinning strategy, it just becomes way easier. So this is probably the crux of the video, and this is what I usually tell all of my coaching clients, and this is the strategy that I apply for my agency in terms of my Pinterest accounts and the people that I work with, is for your new accounts, you don't want to go too far and you don't want to pin too many pins per day. And of course, the pins are those images that you had on Pinterest. And when people click on them, they go through to your blog and then you generate revenue from the impressions. So this is my strategy. I usually pin 3 to 5 times per day per new account, okay? And I'd recommend that you do the same. Now, if you pin more than that, you potentially could have an issue with Pinterest in terms of blocking your account or maybe putting it in some type of spam filter. And honestly, if you do less than that, you probably haven't got enough data points and pins for your account to really see any meaningful traction. And what I mean by that is you're not pinning enough, pretty much. And that is the biggest mistake that I'd say 99% of people do, whether I'm coming to them and I'm giving them some type of coaching, whether someone's asking me just generally my opinion on their account, or if I'm potentially working with a client and they are coming to me from an agent point of view, they don't pin enough. And it's not about pinning too much or pinning too infrequently. It's about having that right amount. And honestly, if I'm being super honest, I think 5 times a day is the magic number for month one. So if you take nothing else from today's video, then pin 5 times a day for month one and do it on a regular basis. So pretty much every single day for the first month. I'd also recommend that you have 8% of your own content. And for the first month, it's wise and I'd advise it to probably repin 20% of other people's content. So just think about when you are putting, for example, bathroom decor ideas, maybe 4 or 5 pins per day. Then every now and again, you want to add in one of someone else's pin. Just type in the keyword into Pinterest, and then you can add those pins to your board. Very, very simple to do. Now, number 3 is you want to focus on fresh pins. Again, too often people just prefer to kind of repin the same image over and over again to the same board or maybe to different boards. And I don't recommend you do that. Pinterest rewards freshness and they reward uniqueness. So the more fresh and more unique that you are with Pinterest, the more impressions you're going to get. And for you, that means the more revenue you're going to make. Now, I usually design multiple amounts of pin variations. And I recommend somewhere in the range of 3 to 5 pin variations per URL per blog post, okay? So let's take an example of that. Let's go back to here. So we have dining room, living and dining room space ideas, okay? We have one pin here and we have the blog post here. So this is the blog post that we are trying to pin towards, okay? And what I'd recommend is creating 3 to 5 different pin unique designs for this URL, and then going forward and scheduling those over a matter of weeks. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to have one and then pin it to pin it to one board, living room decor inspiration ideas, for example, and then you don't want to pin it to another board the next day because it's not really fresh. It's kind of the same pin and used multiple times, and Pinterest doesn't really want that. So let's go for 3 to 5 pin variations, and you can use Canva, for example, for those pin variations. I'll show you a quick example in a second of how you can use that. And also there's some paid tools. I'd recommend some paid tools as well, but we're going into that in a second. You want to make sure that you have different titles, descriptions, and visuals, similar with the pin variations. And one of the things you can do, which makes this all very, very easy and basically free, is just use Pinterest search bars and Pinterest trends. So let's take a very quick look of how to do that right now. Okay, quick pause. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would highly recommend that you do, because I'm sharing up-to-date strategies for AI, for Pinterest, and to make more passive income online. So definitely hit that subscribe button. Let's carry on. So here's the Pinterest Trends tool. This is free. You can find this by going to Pinterest Trends on the tab here and going down. One of the things that I do very frequently is visit this page, and I'll go into growing trends. I'll type in my keyword or maybe my interest on the side here. So we're going to type in home decor. And then I'm going to look at some of these different trending keywords. So let's look at backyard layout. So I'll open up a few of these. So that's a pretty cool one. Chocolate brown couch living ideas. I'll open up maybe 2 or 3 more. And I pretty much just want to get an image of what my competition look like. So I think this was a pretty cool keyword as well, actually. So let's take a look at these. So this is a trending keyword for now. It dipped over winter. It's come back up in spring. Let's open up this one. And backyard privacy ideas for neighbors. I feel like that might be applicable to me right now. So let's take a look at these, and we're going to look at the keyword variations, we're going to look at the styles, and we're going to look at our competition in terms of the graphics. So this is a really good one, actually, because if you look at the top pins, there are some really good different variations of these pins, which means we can test a variation and find out what works for us. So first off, we have this one here, which looks pretty cool. Let's open up the top 4 or 5. This one is graphics at the top with 1 image at the bottom. Let's check out the next one. This is 4 images with graphics and text in the middle. Love that. And a call to action there as well. This one is, again, 4 images, but with a more broken image, text in the middle. And this one is pretty similar. So I definitely think the 4 images and the 1 keyword seems to be the winner here. And this is the variations that I will test. So I'll probably just grab these and put them onto like my desktop, and I'll have a competition research of some of the better keywords in my subfolders or my niche. And what I'm really trying to do is find a template so I know what's working and what's not working. Then I can use that for across my account on other areas, and then that streamlines the whole pin creation process. Now, a free way to do all of this is pretty much just to use Canva. If you've not used Canva yet, then Canva is a free design tool that you can use. And it has literally thousands and thousands of, as you can see, 20,000 templates for Pinterest. And you can go through these, find the ones that are free, which are any ones without this little cross on it. So these, for example, will be free, that one will be free. Or if you're really good at design, you pretty much could just go into one and design it yourself. Here are some designs that I've made in the recipe niche. Super simple, but they work really well. Now, if you're a little bit more on the lazy side, which I am kind of, I prefer to just have tools do things for me and save my time, then I'd recommend you popping over to Content Goblin. And it pretty much does all the hard work for you. It gives you lots of different pin templates and designs, and you can also custom design your pin templates if you need to based on your competition. So once you've logged in, you can hit on pin generator here. We're going to grab one of our keywords from before. So that one's very suitable. We'll add it in here. You can add your domain name in here, and then you can also have some negative prompts. We're going to go for John style here, and we'll create 2 pins. I'll type in my domain so you can see it too, and I'll hit generate. Now, again, there are, as I mentioned, free tools you can use. Canva is one of them. This is a paid tool. It's very affordable, and it saves you a ton of time. Plus, you can test lots of different variations of pin titles, pin descriptions, pin images. So it's very suitable, and literally in a matter of seconds, it's done here. We can change the style type to a collage, and we can hit generate again. As you can see, we've got a collage here. Now, there's probably more than 4 images here. I prefer to have 4, but you can actually mention that in the prompt here. So and I'm also going to type in a amount of 15 actually, chocolate living room ideas that we're going to do. So the amount of images in our post. I'm going to change the style to general here, and then I'm going to hit generate it here. Let's see what it looks like now. So we've got a few more. So as you can see, there's 4 images here. We can keep continuing to play with the pin text if we want to look specifically like a competition, or as I mentioned before, we can just continue to play around. So we're going to type in, we'll type in realistic, we'll type in generate and see what it comes up with. So as you can see, we've spent about a minute. We've got around 7 or 8 or so pins. Some of these look amazing, especially this one. I love this one, and I love this one, and this one looks pretty cool too. The point is, we have lots of different pin ideas. We can go in and add those to our account, and this really allows us to fast track our time and also make sure we're adding fresh pins to Pinterest, which they absolutely love. And as I mentioned, you can customize these as you see fit. So if that makes sense to you, I'll leave a link below this video. Definitely check it out. It's like super affordable. I get like a small kickback if you pick it up, but it's not going to make a difference for you. It's just on my side. Let's carry on with the video. So once you've got your basic scheduling system in and you understand the variation of pins, make sure that you have your, again, basic SEO in terms of Pinterest. So add your keywords in the pin titles, in the pin descriptions, and in the board names. This is very, very, very simple, but you just need to be clear that it needs to be done. And I don't use hashtags anymore, if I'm being super honest. I don't think it makes a big difference, but by all means, continue to use hashtags. I think it just wastes my personal time in terms of adding those to Pinterest on the native scheduler. But of course, everyone's a little bit different. And I'm not perfect. This isn't a perfect strategy. It just works for me. And as you've seen, I have millions and millions of impressions across multiple accounts. So this is what works for me. And that kind of ties me into number 5, which is just avoid spamming behavior. Now, of course, if the things that you're going to do are going to be spammy, then probably it's not going to work over the long term. And one of those things are definitely overpinning. So one of the things you can do too soon is just having too many pins too frequently, especially with a new account. Now, technically, there isn't anything that Pinterest says on their account page, so that's their support pages, that says you can't have 100+ pins per day. But generally, from a common sense point of view, only a existing account that has millions and millions and millions, several millions of impressions and clicks on a month-to-month basis will ever need that many pins. And of course, Pinterest has a really smart algorithm. So if you're getting engagements with every single pin and the engagement rate is super high, then it doesn't make a difference if you ever have 50, 60 or 100 pins, because you are giving Pinterest algorithm what they want and also the user what they want. So Pinterest are going to serve your pins to the audience and you're going to make a ton of cash. But if you're pinning sporadically and if you're pinning too frequently and if you're not pinning in specifically your niche area, then that could lead your account to maybe get flagged, and that's not what you want, because flagged accounts means you have the risk of the account being closed down, or at the very least banned for a few months. And this is why I generally tend to stay away from any kind of mass pinning or viral hack strategies, because usually they only work for a short period. And again, we're looking to do this for the long haul, and we're looking to generate passive income over many, many months and several years. Now, super, super important is you want to be patient. And my coaching staff and my coaching team and members know this. Pinterest takes a little bit of time. It's not going to be a quick fix in terms of pinning and then seeing traffic instantly. There are some other social accounts that can do that, but Pinterest isn't one. It takes, I would say, between 1 to 3 months to actually show real traction, but realistically 45 days. So I'll actually put 45 days here. 45 days is the amount that I would say is more realistic. That's roughly when you are going to see your pins ranking. If you don't see it ranking within 45 days, then something is wrong with that particular pin and you'll have to go back to the drawing board. Now, you definitely want to focus on building a solid base and generally just trust the process, okay? As I mentioned, I've done this multiple times across several accounts and it works in any niche across Pinterest, as long as there's enough eyeballs, of course. And almost any niche in Pinterest will have enough eyeballs, because that's why the niches are there in the Pinterest Trends tool. And super important to understand how to grow your account, just go through your analytics week to week and see what's ranking and see what's not ranking, and then double down on the things that are. So I do want to talk about a pin strategy for intermediate accounts. So once you have seen your growth for the first month, if you are a beginner, you've got through the first month and you're happy with what you've seen so far, obviously you need to give it some time before you see any meaningful growth. But from month 2+ onwards, okay, you need to change your pinning strategy. And this is why I've mentioned at the beginning of the video, make sure that you follow it through to the end, because the strategy from month 1 to month 1.5 isn't the same for the strategy for month 2+. I'd say around month 3 realistically, but you can start doing it probably within 6 weeks or so, is you want to increase your daily pinning to around 8 to 15 pins per day. That is a very, very healthy amount of pins per day once you've started from 5 and you've seen what's working and what's not working. Very, very important is you want to focus on around 90% fresh pins and definitely reduce those repins. After probably month 4, I don't really do any repinning myself. I've seen people that swear by repinning, but it hasn't really worked for me and my strategy, so I don't really spend any time doing it. Does it work? Probably. Do I do it? Not really. But of course, it's something that you can think about. But for sure, you want to make sure that you have fresh pins at the 8 to 15 per day ratio. Of course, you can diversify. I think video pins are doing really, really well in some specific niches. So bear that in mind as well. And maybe idea pins. Usually I just do the static pins if I've been super honest. But I do think video pins are going to be working really well and part of my strategy moving forward. And as I mentioned, seasonally, you need to definitely plan ahead and use tools like Pinterest Trends, because you can see what's working and what's not working, and then go into the actual data. So for example, if we were looking to do dessert ideas for the 4th of July, which is of course an American holiday, you're going to want to start thinking about that from the middle of May onwards, because it's going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks for those pins to rank, and the sooner you have those pins up there, the better. So this is a perfect example, okay, of having a smart seasonal strategy in place, and then looking at your competition, seeing what's working and what's not working, and then following suit. Of course, once you're past month 3, so you've gone month 1, month 2, month 3, you definitely want to continue to optimize your boards and archive and maybe remove any underperforming boards, and then create new boards that are targeting new words that are emerging. I'll probably create another video specifically on boards. If I'm being super honest, I don't really spend too much time on boards. I just do what makes the most sense. And I also treat it as if there's more noise and more traffic and more engagement in one particular area. So for example, if living rooms were getting loads of impressions and that was doing really, really well, I would probably narrow down into small living room, dining room ideas, maybe into large ones, maybe into diner, kitchen, combos, etc. Because that is what my account's telling me is doing really well. Now, a few important points is you do want to have a data-driven growth approach. So I check my analytics probably more than twice a week, depending on my account and depending the seasonality approach that I'm looking at. So within the first few months, you definitely want to be looking at probably every single day, or at the very least twice a week, because you want to understand what's emerging and what's not. And the reason why you do that is because when you identify a top performing pin and you see it start to scale up, you can replicate that process and start to double down in that particular area. And this is how I drive massive clicks across my accounts, is because I get the trends early and then double down on what's working and create more content in that space. Now, all that means is just testing different designs and different colors and different fonts and call to actions and layouts, which can sound a little bit complicated, but really it's just checking what works and doubling down on what works, and then removing the things that don't work. And the truth is, I don't have a degree in Pinterest in how it works and the strategy behind it. I just look at the analytics and I really engage in my analytics and understand why things are working and why they're not. And I also try to get in the mindset of my target audience and specifically seasonality. So why are things trending where they are, and who's looking for those type of keywords? So as I mentioned, back to our example, the people that are looking to create these desserts on the 4th of July are usually mums or girlfriends or partners. You know they're going to be in America, and you know they're in a party mood because they're looking for celebration ideas and things to taste and new things to try on that particular holiday. To really make your pins engaging, you need to understand that target audience and then tap into that with the pin itself. And this is what's going to make you passive income on Pinterest for years to come. Now, there are some automation things that I'd recommend. You can batch and create pins weekly if you are short on time. So you can create them and then just use a native Pinterest scheduler to schedule those out for the rest of the week, or maybe even Tailwind, but I don't think you need it right now, if I'm being super honest, if you are just starting out. And the reason I say that is because you want to keep your expenses quite low where possible, especially when you're starting out. You want to make sure that you build on and then spend profit instead of just spending your own money and cash. Now, I've got some information on group boards. I don't really use them as much as I used to, if I'm being super honest. So I'm not going to spend too much time on them. Just know that you can join them and they can be relevant to your niche. And if you do join them, just make sure that you don't join any spammy ones or unrelated boards to your niche area. Okay, so these are the common mistakes that I'd recommend you avoid, and this is for beginners, for intermediates, for pretty much anyone that is using Pinterest as a passive income machine. So this is the summary of my years and years of experience, and the first thing I want to say is don't pin too much, okay? And don't pin too soon. This is going to be a long-term account and a long-term campaign, and see it as that. So if you really want to make this work for the long term and you want to see income coming in consistently every single month, then don't pin too soon and just work with the algorithm as opposed to against it. Also, not using keywords correctly or poorly, which can lead to poor SEO. This just means you're not going to get any traffic for your hard work. So make sure that you follow these steps that I've mentioned above. SEO is very, very simple. You just have to follow it really. Also, another thing that people do quite heavily, if I'm being honest, is they just have 1 or 2 designs per post. Especially some of my agency clients, for some reason, they think because they've had a post in the past and it's worked okay for them, then they want to continue to have that style and that layout. And I've advised them many, many times that we need to change this layout, we need to change the designs, and we need to push freshness and uniqueness in their account, but they are stuck in their ways, which is understandable. But moving forward, I would suggest that you want to have a variety of different designs and continue to test across multiple designs, because this is really what Pinterest want. They want uniqueness and freshness, okay? I don't know if I can stress that enough. The more unique and the more fresh you are, the more traffic you will see. Of course, if you don't go into Pinterest analytics and you just don't check it, then you're kind of just shooting in the dark. So you've got no idea what's working and what's not working. So definitely check that. And also one thing I'd say is if you are really looking for a consistent strategy, don't just chase viral pins. You want to have evergreen pins and also seasonal and viral pins as part of your strategy. So consistency beats volume. Make sure you have fresh, high quality pins. Stay niche focused to train Pinterest algorithm, and always be 1 to 2 months ahead of the seasonal content. That's pretty important actually, because if you do that, you will see these massive surges in your traffic, which is just awesome. And it will allow you to track, analyze, and adjust monthly. And then that will mean you can track, analyze, and adjust your strategies every single month. Now look, this has been a quite in-depth video. I didn't intend to be this in-depth with this, but I hope you've found some value from me laying out the strategy of how I am able to generate millions of impressions across multiple accounts on Pinterest over multiple years. Now, if you have any questions about the process, which hopefully you might, then feel free to add them in the comment box below. Now, if you've made it this far and you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. I am adding so much more valuable videos over the coming months, and I really want you to be a part of it. And I genuinely want to help you with Pinterest and other ways to make money online. Also, if you want to take your strategy to the next level and just have me pretty much go into your account and do all the keyword research for you, show you exactly what pins are working and what's not working, do all the competition research for you, and pretty much just lay out a plan step by step, looking over your shoulder and helping you grow your account, then feel free to check out my Pinterest one-on-one coaching mastermind sessions below. They're super affordable, and so far my coaching students are seeing fantastic results. So if that makes sense for you and you've got the budget to invest in yourself, then I would highly recommend it, because you get me to walk hand in hand with you through the entire journey, which I think is priceless, and it fast tracks your success and limits your mistakes. Anyhow, that's it from this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.